as we are moving forward here today, we want to assist you in recognizing where you are vibrationally. We want to help you to find conscious awareness of what you are doing with your vibration. And if you are consciously aware of how you are feeling, then you will have the opportunity, if you want to, of reaching for the thought that feels even better. And that really is the most powerful tool that we could ever give anyone, because when you think about it, I am my vibrational center, and everything that's happening to me is coming in response to the vibration that I'm emitting. So if I'm aware of the vibration that I'm emitting, and I'm constantly reaching for a better vibration, then is not my life on all fronts improving in a steady way? And we say, yes, it has to be. So sometimes, by virtue of what you're observing in your experience or those up close to you, around you, you see something that, let us say for the sake of our example, makes you feel powerless. It makes you feel maybe vulnerable. Let's say that the emotion that you feel is one of powerlessness or depression. Now, the reason that we are starting there is because we know the powerful being that you are, and we know the intention that you came forth into this physical experience. And we know that there is nothing that will feel worse to you than the opposite of that which you really are. And that which you really are is source energy. That which you really are is freedom expressing here and now. So the very worst feeling emotion has to be that suffocating feeling when you feel lack of control. And the emotion that you often describe when you are offering that vibration, we hear you use words like grief or words like betrayal or words like depression. The words don't matter so much. There's only two emotions. One feels good and one feels bad, and then there's that infinite range in between. You have lots of different names for the way you feel along this continuum, but let us say, for sake of this example, that deep depression, that feeling of grief, that feeling of not being able to do something about it, that powerless, lost feeling, let us describe that as the most disconnected vibration that you can achieve. So there you are in your depression. Now, the thing that we want you to hear is, you might come to an Abraham gathering, or you might talk with someone who has been to one, and in your depression, as they're observing you, they might say to you, hey, you got to think some happy thoughts. You need to cheer up. You need to stop being so negative. In which case you might want to say to them, you need to drop dead, because you don't have access to that bright, happy thought or feeling, even though you have thought happy things before, even though you have had access to happy thoughts at other times. In this moment of that vibration that feels like it's sucking the life right out of you, you don't have access to that bright, happy thought. So what we want you to hear in this quest for reconnecting to who you really are is, the best you can do is reach for the best you can do. In other words, the best you can do is find the best thought you can find. And maybe a thought of rage or anger is the best thought that you can find. Sometimes that angry thought that you discover is a big improvement over the suffocating grief that you were feeling before. You see what we're getting at? Now, somebody who does not understand the components of your grief, who really doesn't like to see somebody who's angry, might say to you, your anger is inappropriate. In which case, we advise you to tell them, again, to drop dead, because they don't know how far you've come. They cannot know the improvement that you have found. They don't know how much better that anger is than that grief that you were feeling just moments before. Now, if your intention is to reach for the best feeling thought that you can find, and you have found the relief, don't let somebody tell you that it isn't. You know that it is, but now don't give up on your quest to reach for a better feeling. Keep reaching. So what we've noticed is, as you're depressed or disempowered, and you reach for an angry thought, you might not have even reached very hard for it, it came easily to you, and you felt the relief of it. If you can stop in that relief and say, this is an improvement, I have deliberately made improvement, now you'll stabilize in that different vibration, and now you have access to an even less angry thought. So now if you reach for an even less angry thought, you'll feel the relief of that less angry thought. And as you stabilize there and continue your mantra of, I'm going to continue to make the best of where I am, I'm going to continue to reach for the best feeling thought, you might find an outrageously frustrating thought, which is relief from that angry thought. And as you stabilize, as you take the time to stop and pat yourself on the back and say, I am feeling better, I'm feeling better. I feel so much better than the depression that I had 2 days ago. And I feel even better than the anger that I wallowed around in all day yesterday. And this feeling of frustration is a big improvement over where I've been. Now you continue your steady progress until from frustration you can go to mild aggravation. And from mild aggravation you can go to a sensation of slight hopefulness. And from slight hopefulness you can go to a vibration of, well, maybe it could possibly be. And from that vibration you could go to a feeling of maybe expecting or maybe even recognizing how many good things are happening for you, into a feeling of belief that it really is going to get better, into a feeling of knowing that you are in charge of your life experience. And that's a long way from that suffocating grief that you were in only 2 or 3 days ago. But the point that we're making to you is you cannot be guided from the outside in. Some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, lollipop, sunshine and roses Abraham person cannot know how far you've come because they weren't there with you vibrationally. They were on the outside of your vibrational meter, and while they mean well, they don't know. Didn't that feel good? Sometimes, friends, in this wildly exaggerated, contrastive, comparative, co-creative experience in which you are all focused, there are things that are happening around you that you do not want to happen. People you love die. People starve in parts of the world. Your dear cat gets run over. All kinds of things that you would not choose if you felt you had every choice to make happen around you within your view of seeing them. And you cannot put your head in the sand. You cannot isolate yourself to some place where you are unaware. You want to be in the world. You want to use it as the creative platform. And so in order to survive in joy, you've got to find a way to be in charge of how you feel. You've got to show yourself that even with all of this happening, that you can focus in a way that makes you feel terrible, or you can focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible. And if you focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible, then you can focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible. And if you can focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible, you can focus in a way that makes you feel less terrible. Until before you know it, you don't feel so terrible. You even start to feel a little good. You even start to feel often good, really good, exaltedly good, irrationally good by the standards of those who are around you.